Hi, I'm Megha from Couple of Expats, and today we're talking about why you should move to Finland. But before we get into that, I'd like to talk to you about how Chris and I have been living in Finland since 2018. And while we didn't know all of these reasons when we moved to Finland, we realized over time that these are the reasons why we want to stay here longer. So we think it's useful for you to know these reasons before making your move here. So let's get started. Because it's safe and inclusive. Up to 99% of expats say they feel safe in Finland. And that's a very big deal, especially we moved to Finland when we were very young. So it was important for both us and our parents that Finland is a safe destination. The crime rates are really low here, and also in terms of being inclusive, Finland frowns upon discrimination and they are trying to promote more equality, so that's also really important. Because work-life balance matters. While the number of working hours are just getting longer and longer in many countries, in Finland, working hours usually consist of 7.5 to 8 hours. So in Finland, you really have time for hobbies, for quality family time, for personal time, and that allows one to be more focused at work and dedicated to get work done during a designated amount of time, and that just has boosted productivity in Finland and has also allowed people to have more balanced lives. Because Finnish cities are located in the heart of nature. Have you ever wished to get out of the city more often and just spend more time in nature? Well, that's possible in Finland, because even the biggest Finnish cities, for example, Helsinki, Turku, Tampere, are located in a way that you can access nature very easily. Finnish forests happen to be just in the city and just outside of the city, and it's only a 5 or 10 minute drive away from the city, so very, very accessible. It's very common for Finns to spend their weekends at their summer cottage, for example, and even regardless, there is a lot of options to take your dog for a walk in nature trails, and even lakes, beautiful lakes that are all over southwest Finland. So it is very much possible to be in the heart of nature in Finland. Because good health is a priority in Finland. Finland has universal health care, so the financial repercussions of getting ill are not severe. Also, on top of that, Finns live a very healthy and active lifestyle. Many bike to work all year long, even despite the weather. People love to ski in their winter holidays. Swimming in the lakes is also another fun activity, going hiking and walking in nature. So Finland promotes an active and healthy lifestyle, resulting in a healthier, happier people. Because of a great education system. This might be one that you're already familiar with or something that you've heard of, because the Nordics are very well known for their education system. Now, this one is pretty personal for us too, because we both came here to study. In Finland, the education system is really more self-study oriented, and it encourages working and studying together, so that real life experiences are already incorporated, are already learned from during the studying phase. This is something that we both did, and we think that that really helped us during our masters. On top of that, in Finland, you can find students of all ages, and it's really encouraged to go back to studying even after, say, 10 or 15 years of working. So that allows people to constantly develop their careers and develop their educational background, and it doesn't limit the age at which you can study. Because a peaceful and quiet life is possible in Finland. Now, based on the Nordic culture, what people in Finland normally tend to mind their own business and lead a rather quiet and peaceful life. Now, this might be a very big change based on where you're coming from. A lot of cultures are centered around being around a lot of people, being around family, being around just a lot of energy. In Finland, that is not really the case. People do appreciate having their own private personal space, and they're not really the biggest small talkers either. So if that is something that you can relate to or you think that you might want for yourself, then living a quiet and peaceful life is definitely possible in Finland. Because you can say goodbye to long commuting times. Anyone who's lived in a big city will tell you that commuting is probably their least favorite part of the day. Whether it be 45 minutes on a metro or being in a traffic jam that just never seems to end, the daily commute can be a pretty negative aspect of city life. However, because of Finland's pretty scarce population, that is not necessarily an issue that you're going to run into. The cities are relatively small, so it's easy to get around by numerous different types of transportation, for example, walking, biking, e-scooters, or driving. And regardless of what you are taking, and of course public transportation as well, and regardless of what transportation you're taking, it does not necessarily take a very long commute time. Because social security in Finland is well established. One might argue that the welfare system in a country is kind of like the backbone of a country. And in Finland, this welfare system is very well established, and there are benefits for the people living here in all sorts of forms, whether that be for pensioners or for those who are facing unemployment, or students have very generous benefits, as well as for housing related. So these benefits just help people live a better life when they may not be doing so well, and it helps them be in a have more mental peace. Also, because of the welfare system being so strong, of course, the taxes are pretty high in Finland. The taxation system is called progressive tax, so taxes increase with income. However, people here don't usually mind the high taxes because the quality of life is very good. Because it's the happiest country in the world. So for 5 years now, Finland has ranked the happiest country in the World Happiness Report. I think that indicates a general sense of well-being in the country and that the society is functional. And I think that Finland's also stands as an exemplary model for other countries that have ranked lower in what can be improved. Now, from an expat perspective, things may not always look so bright. I think it's also important to include that in an international survey that was published recently, Finland ranked towards the bottom because expats expressed difficulties in finding proper employment, language difficulties, and making local friends. So being an expat, there are difficulties and challenges. Last but not least, because you may find your future spouse. And that's the fun one, because that's actually how we met. We were both international degree students at the university here, and that's how we met and became friends. And who knows, this might not be your reason for moving to Finland, but I don't think anyone minds finding love along the way. And there you have it. Those are our 10 reasons why we think you should move to Finland. And we hope this blog was useful and you learned something new about Finland, and it helps you make your decision of whether or not you think you should move to the Nordics. We also have a detailed blog about this topic, and we're gonna link it in the description below. If you've enjoyed our video, please like, comment, and subscribe. See you!